Welcome back to 2K Studios, and welcome to a very special theory video. My first theory video about the new trailer for Dune. We're going to discuss what I like to call the blue headband theory. Now, if you have watched the new trailer for Dune, if you watched it carefully, you will have seen that Chani, at certain points in the trailer, is wearing a blue headband. Then at one point in the trailer, she takes it off and lets it fly away in the wind. And that's when she's on a dune and someone is looking at her through some sort of binoculars. So that happens at one point in the trailer, but other depictions in the trailer have her wearing the headband. And that is what brings us to today's theory. Now, there are minor spoilers in today's video because, well, it's really hard to talk about this without kind of giving away some of the plot in the book. So if I don't want to be spoiled at all for what's coming up in the new Dune, you might want to wait. For those of you who have read the book, you'll have seen one little clip towards the end of this trailer that just can't happen. It can't happen. It's like such a departure from what happens in the book that I question if it is actually real. And this one depiction, maybe a 1.5, 2-second little clip in the trailer has caused this whole theory of the blue headband. So I will put the screenshot up and we'll follow along. So what happens in this little snippet, 2 seconds of trailer, is you see Paul in a still suit and Chani in a still suit, and they have these bags. And the first time I watched this trailer, I thought nothing of it. Okay, we have the happy couple out in the desert with their backpacks, and I was like, well, that's nice. But the second time I watched it, I was like, wait a minute. Those aren't backpacks. Those aren't hipster satchels. Those aren't, those are babies. I was like, wait a minute. Paul, Chani, twins. This can't happen. This is such a departure from the events of the book that I was like, this has to be a vision of the future. So if you're familiar with how Paul Atreides' powers work, he has the ability called prescience. And because of his heritage through the Bene Gesserit's eugenics project, he has a special ability to see different branches of the future while he's under the influence of the spice. So eugenics project plus spice equals superpowered guy Paul Atreides. And so it makes you question, because he has this ability, he's able to see different futures, because in the Dune universe, the future is not set, the future is always changing. I think this is the same with the Marvel universe. That's why we saw Doctor Strange with the Time Stone. He went and saw every possibility on how to defeat Thanos, and he came back and they did the one that worked. Yeah, Paul's basically Doctor Strange with the Time Stone, and the spice is Paul's Time Stone. So the way the director has chosen to depict the scenes where Paul's abilities are in use can sometimes seem like actual scenes from them, like actual time, like things that actually are happening. Because of the way he's filmed them, he hasn't put in some cases, he hasn't put different distinctions besides, you see Paul just tripping out and then he sees these things. Sometimes I'll put up examples of the second trailer of the first part of Dune. We have the depiction of Paul in his golden armor and he's fighting, and then his mask comes up at the end and you see he has the blue eyes. Now that was in the second trailer of the first movie. And now we're on the third movie, and this is the second trailer. We find out when we watch the first movie that the scene where he's wearing the golden armor and fighting in the desert, that was a vision he had of the future. But that wasn't made known in the trailer. So this brings us to the blue headband theory. Because of this depiction of these two happy couple in the desert with the babies, so that brings us to the theory of every scene in the trailer where she's wearing the blue headband is now suspect to being a vision of a future that could be. So this might not necessarily happen. This is just what a possibility of what could happen, and Paul is seeing this, and that's why I think that, especially because of this scene, it puts all the other blue headband scenes into question, because in every other blue headband scene we see that Chani is happy, and in the other depictions of her where she's in her still suit and after, she's very unhappy. So this headband is telling me, hey, look, this could possibly be another one of those moments of a future that we haven't seen, in the trailer. Just like the gold armor and the blue eyes was like, oh, wait a minute, the gold armor, blue eyes, this is a prescient vision that Paul's having. The blue headband is like the gold armor. So that is the theory of the blue headband. And the evidence I have provided is based on my knowledge of the book, about the events of the book, about what happens to the characters in the book, and also because the second trailer for the first movie had the gold armor, and we weren't made aware that that was a vision until we saw the movie. And so I think the director is doing the same thing in this trailer with the blue headband, especially because this scene. Now, another, I guess, defense I have of this theory is that you see at one point she lets the blue headband go. So this point in the story where she gets rid of the headband, that signifies that time, that happy time, I'm gonna put this down, that future is no longer accessible to Paul. When he sees her let that headband go, he's aware that the whole future is, he can't go down that path anymore. That distinction of her wearing the headband versus getting rid of the headband is different futures, different possibilities, and once she lets go of it, that the possibility of happiness, the happy future, is no longer available. That option's off the table, and that happy vision of the happy couple in the desert with the two babies, that's no longer accessible. That's not going to happen after the point where she lets the headband go. That's my theory. Now I'm curious what's going to happen in the film. Which of these is real? Which of these are visions of a future that can't happen? And it also puts into question other scenes in the second trailer that could possibly be visions of a possible futures that Paul is seeing, because he sees multiple branches of multiple futures every time he has his visions. So let me know in the comments, are there other depictions in the new trailer that you think are visions? And is my theory about the blue headband scenes, is that you think that's accurate, or do you think that's you just watched watched too many videos about Dune or whatever? Let me know in the comments below, because none of my immediate close circle friends have read all the Dune books, so they have no idea what I'm even talking about, and I can't have this discussion with anybody in my close circle, so I have turned to you, the internet. Yes, go in the comments and discuss Dune below. Try to keep it spoiler-free in the comments, because we don't want to ruin anyone's day. Alright, there is a possibility that I'm completely off, and here's the, I guess, possible evidence that I'm completely wrong about this theory. When she is letting go of the blue headband scarf thing on top of the dune, you do see two small Fremen, which could possibly be their children grown up to, about 10 or so. So that could prove this theory wrong, because if that is their children with her on the dune, then the scene that I questioned as being, real or not, could have actually taken place. And this could just be a different timeline where the events of the book happen later. So that's another possibility. So let me know, like I said, in the comments below, if you think this theory is correct, or if this if these potential children on this dune are the children in question, making this just like the events of the book happened later than in, like they changed the They moved. It's so hard to talk about this without spoiling anything. Okay, so that they would have changed the timeline of the book so that things that happened in the book, things that happened to Paul in the book, happen later when his kids are already a certain age. Okay. So thank you for watching. Until next time, don't forget, fear is the mind killer.